In this video, we're going to go over the steps I took to repair an issue with the hull and deck separating on our Lagoon 420. These first three pictures here show you what the separation looked like once the rub rail was removed and before we began to clean things up. And then we'll follow with some video that I shot as we work through the repair.
So it looks like the deck, not the hull, has bulged out. So you can kind of see right there. And then, I mean, this is pretty flimsy here. So I think an approach would be to clean all this out. It goes in about an inch. Clean all this out. And if there was a way to use like toggle bolts to pull the whole thing back together again, maybe that would be the way to handle this. That's just caulk. The whole top's way more flimsy, and it runs all the way back just to here, just above the window. So it's really not the hull, it's the top. So anyway, happy to have thoughts and ideas.
Okay, the two tools I used to clear out the caulk was this double-sided rasp and this flexible scraper. And this was really good with the adhesive caulk or silicone caulk or whatever that was in there. So I, pulled out as much as I could by hand. Used a chisel and a hand razor scraper. But this really made the job go a lot faster, so those two tools really did a nice job. And here's where we're at. Got the rub railing pieces off. As you can see what the gap looks like there. All that's cleaned out. It's been acetoned now, and that rasp has really roughed up everything. I'm gonna put 5200 even where it's not separated, because the caulking is terrible there, and I suspect the adhesive is too. A little bit there, I couldn't get that to move much with the scraper, so I think that's actually good adhesive. So that's the plan. Now we're going to attach a ratchet strap to pull the deck into alignment, and then we're going to put in the toggles, which I'll show you now. Okay, so this is how we're tackling the problem. We have strapped the hull down to bring it in closer, and we're going in with these stainless toggles, which are very cool. It's basically a stainless steel toggle on the inside, and you use these to adjust the toggle. So it goes in, and you pull one side of it, and it flips like that, and then you cut them off. So we're going to go in now with some bolts and fender washers and start to pull these together. And then we're going to 5200, and we're going to adjust the straps to make sure we've got even depth on this whole thing. And we're going to put it in with the fender washers, 5200 a section, leave the last strap in place, leapfrog the other straps over, and move on to the next section. So that's the plan. So these take a 1/2 inch hole, and then you can see you can just rotate like that. It's very cool. So we'll do a test fit here. I had to cut the ends off the other one to get it to rotate.
It looks like we're in the same situation there, where whatever's behind there is not allowing the toggle to go in far enough to rotate. So we're going to lop a couple of millimeters off each side. Okay, we are taped. I've got bolts every foot where the major part of the bend was, right through there. And then at the regular spacing for the main through bolts for the rub rail. So I'm pretty happy. The only place where it's bowing a little bit is here, but I think it's okay within spec for the rub rail. Boy, everything else came together very nicely. These toggle bolts were really easy to work with. And now that I've got it masked off, I'm going to shoot 5200 in there. Hopefully it's not too runny. And that should be that. Amy's working over there on the cleaning the back of the rub rail and getting all the silicone off and stuff. So we'll be ready to cut out little areas on the back of the rub rail to accommodate the new bolts and fender washers. I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. And then we got to glue and screw it back up. So yeah, this is a one-day project here, but I'm pretty happy. It's looking really good. Short of pulling the whole inside apart and tabbing it in with epoxy, I think this is the next best thing. So we'll see how this holds up. Okay, we have got the 5200 in there. We've taped it to hold it in place, which may be interesting to pull off the tape, but looks really good. Okay, we're a little over 2 days, almost 3 days in on the curing, and I pulled the tape. So let's get you a little close up of what it looks like here. So you can see some areas have a little bit of separation where we pulled the tape out, but I went in, just to ratchet or two on each of these. Kind of bring the hole in a little closer. You can see how nice it aligns now. It's not bowed out anymore. And assuming the 5200 helps, I think we may have gotten it. We'll see. So the next step will be to work on the rub rail to accommodate this space. So we're going to have to kind of cut a little area out of the rub rail, route it out so that it fits over top of these. But yeah, looks pretty good. Okay, what I did here on the back of the rub rail was I went ahead and routed out a place for the washer. Now, I had cut the washer into a rectangular shape so it would fit better here underneath the rub rail. What I'm going to do is go line it up on the boat, come through these holes, and make sure the head of the bolt is centered. And if it is, then I'm going to drill that through, and it should sit right over top. If not, I'll make an adjustment. So this is the tool I used, this Dremel bit. Really good, works on everything. I used it on my sail drive project when I was doing the SD50 kit. But yeah, this thing really worked well for this purpose. So that's basically a wrap on the project. You can see here the port side reassembled. We did use some sealant when we put the rub rail back up to make sure no water got in there. I also squirted additional sealant in each of the small screws that attach the rub rail to the hull. Overall, I think the project went very smoothly. There were some things I had to figure out, obviously, as we went along. But overall, I'm really pleased. We did spend the season in the Bahamas, and I can't detect that there's been any separation at all. Everything seems to have held up very nicely. So if you're looking to do this project and you got any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'd be happy to help, give you any additional insights on how this went for us or clarify anything that might not make sense in the video. Thanks, everybody.